What are the phases of the moon? As we study our night sky during a lunar month, we can observe that the moon's appearance goes through a series of changes from not visibly lit or illuminated through partially illuminated to fully illuminated. The changes then continue the other way, from fully illuminated through partially illuminated to not illuminated again. This cycle of changes is a continuous process that has 8 distinct stages known as phases. These phases tell us what shape the illuminated part of the moon has in our sky, and how much of the moon is illuminated. The first phase of the lunar month is the new moon. We have a new moon when our moon's orbit around the Earth places the moon between the Earth and the sun. During this phase, we see the side of the moon that is not being lit by the sun. In other words, the moon is not visible because the brightness of the sun outshines the dim moon. As the moon continues its journey eastward, away from the sun, we begin to see a little more of the sunlit side of the moon each night. A few days after the new moon, we see that the moon is partly lit in a thin crescent shape. This phase is known as the waxing crescent because the fraction of the moon's disk that is illuminated is increasing, or waxing, each night. When half of the moon appears to be lit, we call this phase first quarter. In the first quarter phase, as the nights pass, the fraction of the moon's disk that is illuminated is still increasing. This phase gets its name from the fact that the moon is now 1/4 of the way through its lunar month. As the moon continues its counterclockwise orbit around Earth, more of the illuminated side becomes visible to us. The waxing gibbous phase occurs when the moon appears to be more than 1/2, but not fully, illuminated by sunlight. The gibbous moon appears to grow, or wax, each night until the full sunlit face of the moon appears. Once the face of the moon is fully lit, we have the phase known as the full moon. A full moon occurs when the sun and the moon are at opposite positions in the sky. This is why a full moon rises almost exactly as the sun sets, and sets just as the sun rises the next day. With the full moon phase, the moon has completed half of the lunar month. Let's review what we have learned so far about the phases of the moon. Question 1. Which is the first phase of the lunar month? A. New moon. B. Full moon. C. Waxing crescent. D. None of the above. The correct answer is A. The new moon is the first phase of the lunar month. Question 2. What do we call the phase in which half of the moon appears to be lit? A. Half moon. B. Waxing crescent. C. Dim moon. D. First quarter. If you answered D, you know that the first quarter moon is when the half of the moon appears to be lit. Question 3. Which phase of the moon occurs when the moon appears to be more than half but not fully illuminated? A. Waxing crescent. B. Waxing gibbous. C. Full moon. D. New moon. The correct answer is B. If it is more than half but not fully lit, the moon is in its waxing gibbous phase.